Bio20, welcome to our final cycle, the nitrogen cycle for our biogeochemical cycle unit. Please make sure that you have read some information prior to this about the nitrogen cycle, as there is a lot of vocab that is going to come into play into this cycle. It is the most complicated, the largest to draw, so let's get started. So here you're going to see along the side, I have a legend, and my legend is in a couple of different colors. Nitrogen fixation is blue, nitrification is green, ammonification is purple, and denitrification is red. You'll also notice I have some key players that we've had all along the way: the sun, my stick deer, my lovely stick tree, and some decomposers. We're going to start with atmospheric nitrogen, or N2 gas, which is about 78% of the gas that's located in the atmosphere. And what we're going to talk about is how we fix that into the ground, because we as animals and as plants need nitrogen. Not in the form of N2. We can't just take a deep breath in and breathe in nitrogen. That's not how it works, okay? There has to be a different process because it has to be added to our DNA internally, and so we need to actually break it down. So one of the ways that we can actually get nitrogen into the soil very quickly is through the process of lightning. And lightning causes nitrogen fixation to jump straight to nitrates or nitrites. The other way to do nitrogen fixation is through a plant called a legume, or any plant that has what we call nodules or nodes on their roots that have bacteria that are nitrifying bacteria. So what happens is the plant or the lovely lightning will fix nitrogen into the ground in ammonium. Now, ammonium is very, very toxic to us. We don't want it. In fact, our body right away converts any nitrogen away from ammonium into urea, as you remember maybe from the chapter 9, because urea is a lot less toxic, okay? But we can't keep ammonium in our body. It's toxic. So we have these little guys that are located on the nodules of the roots, and they are nitrifying bacteria. That's these guys right here. And what they do is they convert everything we need into nitrates. Now there's a larger process, and this is called nitrification. It's taking ammonia, putting it to nitrite, and then into nitrate, which is in your notes, so make sure you read that little blurb. Once it's in a nitrate format, the trees can uptake nitrates into their roots, and they can add them into their leaves. Animals will eat the leaves, we eat the animals, and that is how we get nitrogen into our body, is by eating it via the nitrates. Now, as a reminder, things have a lifespan on planet Earth, so eventually what happens is the tree dies and the stick deer is going to die, and we are going to have decomposers break down that organic matter. When it breaks it down, we call this process ammonification. It again puts ammonium back into the ground, but we need to convert it very quickly back into nitrate because ammonium cannot be used. So ammonification is the process of taking the decomposing matter, putting it into ammonium. Then we have these lovely nitrifying bacteria that then allow for us to return it back to nitrate. Now, sometimes what happens is, or what happens often is, obviously we know underground there's not a lot of oxygen present. So in the process of having no oxygen present, we have to return some of this nitrate back to the atmosphere. So what we go through is we take the denitrifying bacteria and go through a process called denitrification. And essentially what it does is it goes backwards through the process, releasing nitrogen back into the atmosphere. Now, we know that humans, all along the way, we've talked about human impacts that have happened, factories with carbon oxygen, eutrophication with phosphates, okay? You can probably come up with a few for the water cycle. For this cycle, we are talking human impacts in the world of releasing a lot of nitrogen dioxide gas into the atmosphere. Driving vehicles or any sort of factory will release nitrogen dioxide, as well as you know that farms release nitrates in their fertilizer, which can run to water and cause eutrophication as well. So there is the beautiful fertilizer releasing more nitrates to have to go through ammonia. So when you have human impacts, and how they affect it is we are again talking about how much extra they are adding into the atmosphere. Again, naturally, this is a natural occurrence to have nitrogen fixated, move through, we eat it, all that stuff. When we add more and more, okay, the planet will not be able to fixate as much as it used to. It will only still do the amount that is needed. So you have a little extra nitrogen dioxide hanging out in the atmosphere. For eutrophication, adding too much nitrates in the water causes algal blooms, which causes death of ponds. So you have to remember that although there are natural cycles, there is also impacts by humans. So please make sure that you have this picture drawn and you understand the process. Again, read your notes to understand what we mean by nitrogen fixation, nitrification, ammonification, and denitrification. Have a great day.